It's going pretty good. How you guys doing?
Well, you've seen how our dear friend Anthony's doing, and and
Yeah,
then
how is
with
he doing?
with right, and with Alex behavior, you would think that his team is maybe 4-8 like my Tar Heels, but they're the fifth seed in the playoffs. So I don't know how Alex is doing.
Dog, I have never, bro. I'm gonna tell you what I have never seen. I thought Colin and I were the Tigger, like the Tigger from the Pooh of the football community. Because like, well, okay, we won, but we could have won by 52 instead of 47. This guy, they in the playoffs, and he's like, it's not enough. Dante Moore needs to die. Burn the whole thing to the ground. Fire Dan Lanning.
It's never enough. It's never enough. 2011, 2014, 2025. I stand on that. You could say, oh, but y'all went to the big game. But did we win? No, we didn't. We got shit pumped all three times.
Listen, you going to the big game is more than some other teams within your conference and around the other 135 teams.
We are the Clippers of the NCAA.
What's a
do
big
good
game?
all year, and then go to the playoffs and.
Yeah, if you're the Clippers, we're the Wizards. So I don't want to hear it. Alec, Ben, talk to me about this. What do you think about? Ben, what do you think about the overall bracket that you see here?
I can't say I'm surprised. I mean, it looks pretty darn good to me. I mean, if I'm nitpicking, I would have swapped Georgia and Ohio State. I would have put Georgia 2 and Ohio State 3. But other than that, I think they got it right pretty much.
Listen,
the matchups look really good with Miami and Texas A&M. That should be an interesting game. So Tulane and Ole Miss. Yeah, Alabama, Oklahoma. That's going to be a fun game.
Yeah,
and then
hard to beat.
James Madison and Oregon. I mean, that's Oregon. You might as well made him a first round bye. I mean, props to James Madison, but they're going to get
go Dukes.
Listen, can I jump in for a minute? I know it's not a home game for James Madison, but God, it would be Harrisonburg, Virginia. And Sean, you're familiar because you in the area. Mm-hmm. Harrisonburg, Virginia would have an absolute fit if ESPN went down there to do a piece on the Dukes. I mean, they would lose their minds. The only thing that would
game day came to them a couple years back.
Yeah, I was going to say that would be the only thing that would make it crazier is if game day came down there with McAfee and Saban and them. Oh, my God. Anyway.
Ooh, hey, Alex Loosemore said, should we call the Miami and A&M the Notre Dame Bowl?
Pew, pew, shots fired.
I will say this. I agree with you, Ben, as far as I would put Georgia at 2, but that's only because I want to see Carson Beck versus Georgia rematch. I think, a lot of people kind of want to see and answer that question, Georgia, Carson, but maybe it's just me, but I think that would be great. I think they can still meet up, but Ohio State's a formidable force.
I don't see Miami getting past Texas A&M.
That's what. Yeah.
That's just because matchup wise.
Well, let's be. Hold on, Ben. I got to stop you there for a second. Let's be real. Now, I'm going to give this to you from the SEC standpoint of view. As Sean likes to say, and as I have come to adapt the philosophy as well, you have to play the games that are on your schedule. So Texas A&M can't help who was on their schedule, but let's look at who was on their schedule. Let's be real. Did they really? They had South Carolina on their schedule, and they almost lost to South Carolina. Well, not almost, but that first half was God. They had teams that they played the teams that essentially wound up being the bottom half. Finishing in the bottom half of the standings in the SEC. So I don't want to say that it was a cakewalk on top of the cupcakes they had in the beginning, but it was a little bit of a cakewalk. You put that same schedule in front of Ole Miss. Ole Miss is 12-0. You put that same schedule in front of the Georgia team that we saw play yesterday. Georgia is 12-0. So A&M.
I don't know. I don't know.
Wise, they get.
I'm looking at your schedule, Andy.
This matchup, yes, they get.
We had some hitters, but we didn't have.
You struggle with some of those same squads. I mean, and I'm looking at that Florida game right up top. I'm
aware. Listen, I am well aware that we struggled. Trust me. That was our big thing all season. Why are we showing up in the first half and letting off in the second half? Or why are we not showing up into the second half? Or why are we playing in the fourth quarter and then taking 2 quarters off and showing up in the fourth quarter? Drove me and Colin crazy. I spoke to that, trust me. But I'm just saying, I don't know if it's the Kirby thing or whatever the voodoo it is that he works, but Georgia, I think, would have that with that schedule. I think Georgia would have come through 12. I mean, because think about it, the only game we lost was the Bama.
Yeah,
regular season. Anyway, moving forward. I didn't mean to derail you there.
No. It's fine. I get it. I mean, A&M didn't have the most impressive schedule. We could argue that all day, and I would probably agree with that. Speaking of, I mean, I know the talk's going to be, Notre Dame not getting in, and I mean, I think if you did put them in, they could go on a run because they've been playing great football lately. But this has to be a lesson learned to them. Join a conference. I mean, bottom line, join a conference because then you will.
I'm not with that.
No, I am because look, Sean. I mean, that way they can at least play in. They could have, if they had been in a conference, they would have been in an ACC or whatever conference in their title game and would have won it. I mean,
there would be no question whatsoever.
Exactly, but I mean, and your 2 losses were to the 2 teams that you had to beat, Miami and Texas A&M. You lost both.
They lost to by a combined 4 points. I feel like we're looking at some teams and we're giving them the benefit of the doubt. Like, oh my goodness, we got by, but we still got by. And then we're looking at other teams and really truly penalizing them for we just talked about who you played. So we're penalizing them because they didn't have the hardest schedule over here, and then they lost to 2 over here. I mean, I'm just saying this. I'm going along with Alec, where it's like if we have a 10-2 versus a 10-3, I'm going 10-2, and that means that would make take Alabama out for me. Now I get what people are saying about they need to be in a conference, but I just don't think that should be the deciding factor to why they're left out.
Well, then go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I do though, Sean, because we're in that position now where that's all the more important if you're going to put the highest, look, some will say, well, Duke didn't get in. They won their conference championship game. I get that.
Duke didn't get it because Jordan had something to do about it. But Duke was also at 5 losses? So that's different. They're not ranked.
But speaking of that, Duke wasn't. Yeah, they weren't ranked. And then Alex brought to my remembrance is the highest ranked conference champions. Is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's in black and white. That's in black and white. So since it sucks, but since it's in black and white, you got to roll with it. But again, it's that whole narrative. Speaking of which, Sean, what you were just saying, and there's may or may not be a video with a guy that looks something like me out there that speaks to this quite aggressively earlier today. Is as a committee, you cannot start the narrative 2 to 3 weeks out. Well, we're not going to fault someone for losing in a conference championship, for playing in a conference championship, and not add the asterisk part that's unspoken, unless you're not Alabama, unless you're not Ohio State, unless you're not a high-ranked conference, whatever. Because take that explanation, go to the folks at BYU and tell them how you didn't punish them for losing their conference championship.
Yeah, but they also lost to Texas Tech twice.
Exactly. Let's add the context to it, and not just go to the top part of it.
No, that's not. No. Hold on. We're doing wordplay now. They didn't say unless you lose to the same team twice. They said specifically we're not going to penalize anybody for being in a conference championship. They didn't say unless they lose to the same team twice.
They didn't say they weren't going to also look at other things. We can't just say the conference championship. If they win or if they didn't get, that's the end all. End all. That's not it.
I mean, I get Sean.
I understand what the committee. I understand what the committee's saying, but that's not.
Sean, you and I are speaking the same language, but the folks on the committee, and I mean the folks on the committee, because the talking heads are pretty much parroting what they're hearing coming from out of the committee's mouths. And the committee was saying we're trying not to penalize teams for being in conference championships. But again, there's that unspoken part, because Bama lost in the conference championship. They're in. Ohio State. Now we know there's a whole different animal. Ohio State is a whole different animal because they ran the regular season from tape to tape, and we're 12-0 going into this game. Plus, they exercised the demon of beating. Sorry, Alex, but they did defeat Michigan this year, so they're a different animal. But they didn't hold that same stat. They didn't. The standard that they held for Ohio State, the standard that they held for Bama, did not apply to BYU, and hell, it didn't even apply to Virginia because wasn't Virginia only a 1-loss team going into their conference, or were they a 2-loss team?
2-loss.
They were 2-loss. Okay, well then okay, let's look at that. Let's look at Bama. Bama was a 2-loss team. They were a 3-loss team with their conference championship loss. They're in. Virginia's out. Got to do it all the way across the board, bro. That's all I'm saying is if you talking the talk, then you got to listen. What was it, Stone Cold Steve Austin? If you talk the talk, you got to walk the walk. And they're only walking the walk for the folks that are most advantageous for them.
I can't. I look at the Alabama games, and then I look at the games they played, and then like Alex will say, the losses that Alabama had were fairly egregious. Like they were by 2 scores. So
okay,
go ahead, Ben.
Sean, it comes down to the schedule, the resumes too. Alabama played a lot more ranked teams. Notre Dame didn't. So you got to go by all the context of everything. You know, the strength of schedule, the who you beat. You know, so there's a lot of stuff.
Miami head-to-head. Yeah,
and Miami beat them head-to-head. That was the key. All Notre Dame had to do was
that's where Miami. I think it was.
We wouldn't have.
If it came to Miami, Notre Dame, Miami beat them head-to-head, and that was the difference in who got in, who didn't.
Question.
But again, I got to go. Oh, go ahead, Sean. Or I mean, go ahead.
Question.
Wow, we all look like.
I mean, we both got on hoodies. Anyway, never mind. I'm not even gonna get into that. But to that right there, if they beat each other head to head, then why did that not become a factor until today? They should have been ranked. I mean, I get that. Hold on. I get that Notre Dame losses were to ranked teams. I'm 100% behind that. I'm following you there, Alex, and you and Sean pointed that out to me. But here's the thing: if they were better than Notre Dame, if Notre Dame beat Miami in head-to-head, all things considered, when you looked at it, when you saw it on the screen, their strength of schedule, their FPI, all of that stuff was almost neck and neck with each other. And even old dude was old boy that was on TV, that was stuttering over his words. What it came down to finally was head-to-head. You should have ranked them ahead of Notre Dame earlier in the season. Then, if they had done this earlier in the season and kept Miami at 9 and Notre Dame at wherever the hell Miami was, and it came down to it like that today, then Notre Dame would have said, "Hey, that's fair. They've been ranked ahead of us all season." I mean, well, Notre Dame fans still would have complained about it because they wanted to get into the playoff. But from that standpoint of view, they held Miami at least 2 to 3 spots underneath Notre Dame for the last 3 to 5 weeks until this morning. This morning was when head-to-head mattered. Because they weren't expecting Ohio State to lose, number one. They weren't expecting Bama to They were expecting Bama to beat Georgia. I'm just calling that. They were expecting Bama to beat Georgia. So you still got your 2 SEC teams in. They were expecting Indiana to lose to Ohio State. So you still got your 2 Big Ten teams in. But then that flip-flop, that game didn't really affect it that much. But when Georgia not only beat Bama, but took them to the woodshed, and then Duke beat Virginia, they had to scramble. All of a sudden, now they want to give the love to the group of 4. All of a sudden, now Miami's better than Notre Dame.
The group of 4 would already they would always get it.
Right. But my thing is, that's where I call bollocks. I start to say something else. That's where I call bollocks. You wait till the last day because your plan didn't go the way you wanted it to go. Now you got to scramble and make all these changes. I'm not talking about the teams. I'm talking about the committee. They need to sit down. Listen, and we talking college football. We talking college football, right? We talking college football. Let's look at the next level up. Next level up is the NFL. The Players Association, the owners get together. They meet. They decide on how everything goes. They put it in writing, and that's what it is until such time as the next time they get together to amend.
Here's the thing. If we're talking about conference championships, I think what Alex said was key. If the issue is conference championships, then let's cut out the auto bids and just put all conference champions in there. Then Notre Dame wouldn't have they would have to get into a conference. But the other point to this, I can't remember. The other guy said it up here. JMU, you talk about JMU and Tulane. They get in because of auto bids, because of the group of 4. If we take that out, then we're not even having this conversation, because then you would put Notre Dame in, right?
Yeah, I agree. But I'm saying this
a lot of this is auto bids who get in. If we're talking conference champions plays a part in it up to a certain point, but it only really comes into factor, like you're talking about with all this stuff, when the chaos happens, which is what happened when Duke wins. Anytime Duke wins, there's chaos everywhere. We know that, Tar Heel Nation. And that's what happened. There, realistically, if we look at, and I've watched them all year long, and Ben, you can attest to this, no ACC team really. I mean, I'll give Miami a little push up, but nobody from the ACC really deserved to be in there. Like
I absolutely totally agree with that. I'm just saying with what supposedly the rules are set up now. Let's just go by right now how they're set up. That, you know, for Notre Dame, it's in their best interest to join a conference. That's all I'm saying. With the rules, how it's predicated right now.
From the playoff standpoint of view, yes. From the financial standpoint of view, absolutely not. Because
well, of course not, because
they get to keep all their money, and that's the reason they won't join a conference.
They got to ask themselves: do they want to be in the playoffs, or do they want money? Because they can't have both every single year. I'm just saying, you know, because their schedule isn't going to allow that every year. I mean, like USC was okay; that was probably their best win schedule-wise. But I mean, they destroyed Navy, destroyed NC State. You know, teams that weren't that good. You know, it makes it more difficult for an independent to get into the play with the current structure that's set in at the moment. That's all I'm saying.
And I just like I hate that that narrative about Notre Dame, because we look at their schedule now, and you're absolutely right. I mentioned it earlier, Ben. You know, I think they played BC and Stanford. You know what I mean? All these teams that are terrible this year. But if we went back to years past when Stanford had Christian McCaffrey, or if BC had Matt Ryan and Luke Kuechly, you know, they have had perennially dominant, like serious schedules. You mentioned USC. Michigan State was always a good test for them in years past. So if we're looking at this year, or we're looking at, you know, and how they struggled this year, or even looking at last year, how they struggled because some of these teams are down, and we're using that as our argument against them overall, that's disingenuous to me. But to your point, the point you made about them, the way things are set up, you have to be in a conference in order to get the benefit of the doubt. That's why I think an Alabama goes in over a Notre Dame. And if Notre Dame and Miami don't play, then I don't think Miami has that, because Miami doesn't get into that conference championship.
Right. Yeah. I agree with that. You know, but I mean, again, you know, the way it's structured now, Notre Dame, it was tough, because last year Notre Dame deserved to be in, because they had a better schedule, and they only lost one game. And I think when you're as an independent, your margin of error is very, very thin. You can't lose more than one game, in my opinion. I mean, whether it's fair or not, you have to know, like, your margin of your room for error is very thin. Right.
And we all knew that you know, they were already going to start giving Notre Dame the benefit of the doubt in the after the second week. You get your 0-2 and you're still ranked. Everybody had an issue with that, so we were all trying to figure that out. And to your point, you got it. They did everything that they were supposed to do, but even doing that, they were going to need help. You know, and we kind of understood that. But look, let's go to these first round matchups. And Alec, I'm going to come to you first. I am. Like Anthony said, native Virginia. So, you know, I just was up down 6681 to Harrisonburg, and it is wild. The traffic is crazy on those 2-lane roads out there. You guys got them first. We know you've been critical of your team, but that's just a defense mechanism, because you know how good they are. How are you feeling about this first game, man?
Who, me?
Oh no, Alec. I didn't hear that.
We're on to Texas Tech.
I think that's the most positive I've ever seen you by your team, man.
Yeah, for real.
Are you with the back to normal again? And then we'll get to ask against Texas Tech. There you go, back to normal.
That was rough.
Wow.
BTA by Texas Tech. We'll get BTA. Oh, if you pull up my screen, I already have my bracket done. Right there.
Can you share it?
Yeah, I share on the bottom.
Okay, I see it.
In other breaking, hey, that ESPN alert.
There you go. There we go.
Hey,
Go Dogs. Go Dogs.
Wait a minute. Shrink it because it says Texas Tech up here.
Oh,
Oh, down there. Okay, I see. Texas Tech versus Georgia.
You...
You guys lose to you really think you guys lose to Texas Tech?
Yeah. With our defense, we'll probably hold it close. But let's just say their defense is way better in the secondary than ours is. And knowing who I don't even know who we're even gonna have, because I guess this team likes to gatekeep who's actually like close to playing. Evan Stewart, they're not sure if he's gonna be playing. It's up in the air. It's all he say, she say. If he's gonna be playing, if he's not. DeCorey Moore, I haven't seen him since God knows how long. Gary Bryant Jr., no update on him. McClellan has an ankle injury, so there goes that. Only thing really have on offense is probably Whittington and I forgot. I'm trying to remember the name on top of my head. Davison.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah.
I don't know. I would have switched that game had y'all win that one. I still think y'all can win against Indiana, but I've already told you I think y'all would play. I think Lanning would play his old team, and I think you guys would beat them in the Natty. I've already told you that. I've already talked to you about that. So that's where I switch on yours. But other than that, I think I'm pretty set. I'm pretty straight with
how we played his old team. You have to make it to the national championship to play his old team.
That's what I said. I said you beat Texas Tech and you beat Indiana.
It's like you want me to play Georgia just so you could think this is your tactic, right? That's what you're trying to use. You're trying to use your tactic so you could think that it's gonna go all the way there. So because you're tired of hearing me, Anthony, and all the time about Georgia Bulldogs, and you want them to be like, oh,
could it not have anything to do with Dan
Lanning?
Lanning?
To the next championship, he'll switch up and say Oregon's gonna win. Wrong. It's going to be Georgia winning the whole thing.
Who was Dan Lanning's first game that he had to play against? When he was at Oregon, who was the first team he had to play against?
Don't remind me, all right? Damn.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. So his whole time
the whole damn game. Yes, I know.
His whole time there has been building Oregon as the Georgia of the Pacific Northwest in order to come and play them.
This ain't the WWE storyline.
It is. It is a WWE storyline, all right?
We're going to have this is not WWE script writing. We're going to have like that, the big match of and then the David versus Goliath, and then he's going to it's not all that. It's Georgia by 1,000,000. They're going to win a national championship, Sean, whether you like it or not. It's the fact, the truth, and nothing but the truth.
I
like Georgia's path. I like Georgia's path. This is where I want them.
All I hear when I hear
Miss.
God,
let's ask Ohio State in the Natty. Julian Sayin got exposed, and guess what? And Kirby Smart ain't stupid. He's using that as fuel, and let Georgia play Ohio State. Let them. Julian Sayin is going to see ghosts on that field because that defense is what I like to go to war with, and that's why I picked them to win the national championship 2 months ago when they were plus 1,200.
Man, did you hear the announcer during that game say, is Nakobe Dean on the field somewhere? I was like, who the hell? I mean, I was happy, but I was like, when did these guys get that good? Like, I mean, it wasn't that they were bad, but I just remember the DBs getting burnt on long passes thrown by Joey Aguilar when we played in Neyland. And well, I will say this: that one DB Jones, if I was a coach, I would have strangled. I would have sat his little rusty dusty on the bit because he gave Alabama that touchdown by himself, single-handedly, with 2 stupid penalties.
Alec, did you see the last comment?
Yeah, it's never gonna happen, Sean. You can this little pipe dream y'all have of Oregon winning national championship. I was like you once. I was like, you know, 1 year going to win national championship. 1 year we're gonna do it. 1 year we're gonna do it. And then I proceeded to watch every year fall short. And now I have fully established we are a uniform school. We care more about our uniforms than focusing on the next opponent. Like it's a freaking fashion show. Like, oh, I get the whole. We got like they're using the Deion Sanders logic, but we ain't winning. We ain't feeling good. We ain't feeling good at all. It's like a fashion show just to get belts ass.
Well, neither is Deion, to be completely honest.
The thing about this, Alec, is the entire time I've known you, you've used every breath in your lungs to tell me how much you don't like Oregon. Yet.
No, I'm just saying
keep wanting them to
we
win.
are a regular season team, Sean, until coaching changes. I'm not even saying the head coach. I'm never saying it's him. It's the coaching when the big games matter. You can play other teams all you want, but somehow when they play an SEC team, they just play this. The playbook, lit that bitch on fire. They just don't know what the fuck to do. They act blind. Like they just like it's like they're like Ray Charles coaching the damn team.
Oh my goodness!
I'm done seeing it. I'm done seeing it.
Peaches and Cream said Oregon should match up well against Texas Tech, and that's what I think is going to come down to, certain matchups. And I think you're going to be fine. I honestly think you'd have more trouble with the team that you don't believe in Indiana than you would eventually with Georgia.
So
Jim Jones said.
I like how
Jim Jones said, I don't know. I think J. Maddie has potential to pull this upset. Hey, Jim, I don't know about that.
There's only one team I would want to face, and that would be Indiana.
That's quarterback and the defense. I will say JT Barrett he's the truth. Or not JT Barrett, but Barrett is the truth. I will say that, but I just don't think he's going to get a beat y'all.
I would want to play Indiana. I don't care. I would. Because that'd be the one game if we actually won, I'd actually be fucking happy. Out of that whole bracket. Because when we play them, they play us at our worst. I want them to have all that little talk, all that little trash talk they have. I want all of that where our team's actually healthy. Because they try to say, oh, we beat Oregon. Congratulations, you beat our backups. That's what I say. Right, you only have one good player on our team besides the right back. Congratulations. You want a fucking prize? You want a pedestal? I don't care. I want them to have that little. We're the Indiana and Hoosiers. I don't care.
Right.
That's the only team out of that whole bracket.
Hey, Hog Dog says, shit, be happy to have a playoff win, bro. Come on now.
That's the only team. If we actually beat them,
yeah,
I wouldn't give a damn if we didn't win the national championship. I would want that team to not win it. I want that team to lose so badly.
What happens if they go all the way, man?
I'll be really sad. I'll be really sick. But guess what?
All right.
Let them go all the way. Let them go all the way. Because when they play the Bulldogs, I don't want to hear shit.
Oh, okay.
Alec, I gotta say this. I listen to you talking. All I hear is not much of a tail for not much of a donkey. Seriously? Dog, I thought me and Colin were bad. You got us beat, bro.
Because I'm tired. This goes back to all the way to 2007. 2007 of dealing with, we're just good enough. We're just good enough. We're almost good. We just gotta get these pieces. Oh, here's this on. Don't worry, we looked good while losing.
Wow. Meanwhile, my team and Ben's team is just sitting over here like really? You really complaining right now?
You know, at least
really complaining?
This person below me saw a BCS championship. At least he saw one.
I've seen a lot of NCAA March Madness championships. How about them?
Oh, how's that like? I wouldn't know.
It's great.
We win track and field. We win track and field. That's about it.
Ben, I guess.
We win track and field. Don't worry.
Oh Well, let's look at these other matchups. All right, and since now you're an SEC lover, and all three of them have an SEC.
Not an SEC lover. It's just the truth.
Okay. Now
it's still F-Bama.
We see in the first round
the
other
F-Bama.
three teams. The other three teams are in or other three matchups have an SEC team represented. First, you got Alabama and Oklahoma. Then you got Tulane and Ole Miss, and Miami and A&M. What you guys think? I heard A&M's going to do some work. I don't know about Ole Miss without their coaching staff or their head coach. What y'all think?
Well,
I think
real quick, I'm gonna before I step out, guys. And by the way, thanks Sean for having me for a few minutes. I just got to get stuff going. I'm gonna go Oregon. I'm gonna go Oklahoma, Ole Miss, and Texas A&M to win their first round matchups.
I like that.
All right, guys. Appreciate you having me on, and I'll see you around.
Appreciate you, Ben.
All right, man.
Appreciate you, buddy.
All right.
Definitely get at my guy, Ben. A lot of great stuff. Does Have At It. Face the Heels, which is a wrestling podcast, and a 2-3 Ben Zone. Definitely get at him. Also does his quick picks for the NFL. Diehard Buccaneers fan. I feel for my Bucs fans, but I know they should be feeling for me because Washington sucks worse. But let's get into it. As we
at least Washington didn't lose to the Jets.
We didn't even score against JJ McCarthy, who's Gibby. Yeah.
Save us 9. You got us 9.
Alabama, Oklahoma. Rematch of the game earlier. Oklahoma got the win. Alabama obviously is a little frustrated from this past week, and a lot of people don't think, they question if they should be in or not. What do you guys think about this one?
I think that, we just saw as evidence yesterday that it is difficult to beat the same team twice. However, you're talking about Alabama coming back to Norman to play. Wait a minute, didn't they play? They played in Bryant-Denny this year, didn't they? Did they not? I don't remember.
I think it was at Norman.
At any rate, you're talking about that team coming back to Norman, to a rabid fan base who has been hungry just to get a taste of playoff play again. And I would venture to against what I would say is one of the, Sean, if agree or disagree with me.
Was it Bryant-Denny?
Yeah.
It wasn't Bryant-Denny. Okay, so they're coming back to Norman, and they're going to play in the midst of, I would say, one of the most rabid. This fan base is going to be absolutely rabid. They've already beaten Oklahoma a couple of times. The home and home series, they've swept that. You're talking about one of the best defenses in the SEC, if not, maybe. Agree with me if you agree. Let me know if you agree. One of the best defenses in college football. I mean, they're shutting stuff down. They are the stir that straws the drink in Norman. John Mateer has not been quite the same since he came back from his thumb injury, but he's still serviceable. I think if that same defense shows up, that may be the end of Alabama's college football playoff run this season. As far as but that's the game we're talking about. Okay, I'm done. Go ahead.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I think that one thing that I thought was very, and if I'm a Bama fan, very disheartening yesterday is we already knew they had the injuries at running back, but the first 2 drives they really tried to push the ball. They really tried to run the ball against Georgia's rush defense. When we all know, everybody, if you know Bama, you know who their guy is, Ryan Williams. So the fact that they really didn't get him involved, in fact, in the Auburn game, he wasn't even targeted. That was a big problem. They didn't go with their identity. And I think it was more of rivalry. Do we know we always beat these guys? This is what we do. So I think, that played a factor. And I think you're going to have a similar situation in this game. Alabama, Oklahoma, there's going to be a little bit of revenge factor. Alabama, I think the fact that Alabama got in, though, we're going to really see kind of like Ole Miss, where is it going to be hit or miss? Because to Jim Jones's point, if they play like they played yesterday, they're done. One and done, get them out of here. And we're having these conversations about the board. But if Alabama can play kind of how they've played when they went on a little bit of a run, and even in that first game against you guys, I think Alabama might see themselves going into the second round. To your point about Mateer, he just really, this guy was a Heisman hopeful at one point, and then the injury, and then just really hasn't gotten it back to what it was. But again, they're still 10-2, and that defense carries them. They got a lot of weapons, so it's going to be interesting. Alec, what do you think about this one? Alabama or Oklahoma?
This one already. See, I already had Oklahoma winning this one.
Yeah,
because if you haven't noticed, ever since that Bama game against Oklahoma, Ty Simpson has not been the same. And then
he's been struggling.
You've seen it in the Georgia game. Just couldn't get the offense rolling until it was too late in the second half.
Well, they're also missing Jam Miller, their leading rusher. It's whether or not he will be back, he's got a couple of weeks to recoup.
Their top two rushers, their backup two was out.
Oh yeah,
and they totally didn't play their style. Number one thing you've always said to me, Anthony, about your team this year is the only part of your defense that you question. You and Colin said is your secondary. That you would think that would be the thing that Alabama does right away is go to your secondary, but they waited till what, second quarter? Second half.
The second half, and then they started tossing the ball to Ryan Williams. I think he got 2 or 3 targets consecutively where they just could not tackle him. I saw another content creator say this kid's slipping and sliding around like he's covered in baby oil, and from what we now know about him, he may well be covered in baby oil. And then, I let you say that. The karma's coming.
Just watch that documentary.
Hey, Karma, if you just divert right there, guy at the top of the screen. And then as far as their passing game,
you said top of the screen.
the kid that dropped the pass.
Karma's coming for the top of the screen. Let's go.
You, sir, are an asshat. Anyway. The kid that I can't remember his name right now to save my face, and I can call it all day. The one that dropped the pass in the end zone. Can't think of his name right now. But those two guys by themselves are just dangerous targets. But like I said, in Georgia's case, we gave them that touchdown on those 2 very, very, very stupid defensive penalties. But if Alabama gets those guys going and gets those guys going and kind of keeps the secondary in check, keeps the secondary honest, then maybe Ty can break off some runs or something. I don't know. We'll see.
It's going to be interesting. All right, let's go to that next.
And Hog Dog, you are correct. I got that straight from Uncle Lou. I just got watching that this morning.
Jeremy Bernard. He was their Swiss Army knife, and he really didn't get going until later on. Perseverance says corruption, Notre Dame hate, Bama love. SEC bias, there is a little bit of that, but we'll get into that. But look, let's go to that Ole Miss game. Ole Miss Tulane. Obviously, Tulane won their conference championship. They've been playing really well this year. Ole Miss was a lock for a while and has played absolutely great all throughout the year with only having the one loss. And then obviously the Lane Kiffin news comes, and now he's over in Baton Rouge. And now you have a little bit of confusion. I think the question is, what Ole Miss are we going to get?
The fuck was that?
Somebody's trying to call me.
Was that you?
Yeah. Somebody's trying to call me.
Oh, it was Ryan Ross.
Yeah, I see. I recognize the ringtone. I looked for my phone.
Because I'm sharing this from my phone, this bracket. So, Tulane Ole Miss. Alec, what you think about that? Peaches and Cream says Ole Miss will look the same, but Lane was the X factor. Could be. But does Trinidad Chambliss continue that success? That higher powered offense. What you think, Alec?
This one was kind of a tough one for me because, like I said, the one thing you don't want to face is a Tulane team that could run the tables in a situation. Then you got to factor in not having Lane Kiffin, which I'm not sure how that factors in, because like there's always a situation where you can say, "How does this team do without this XYZ player?" But I've never seen it with this short of a turnaround and a whole new coach. So I want to take Tulane here, but I'm still like on the fence on that one because I don't know how they. Because I really haven't seen it in this situation where a team like on this short, but like not really like a short like situation of like this is now the head coach and that person's now gone. I don't know how much that shakes up the offense or the play calling. So this one's just like the whatever happens, honestly.
So Peaches and Cream in the comments said, "Are you taking Tulane with the points or outright?" If you were to, do you first of all, do you trust them enough to bet on them? And secondly, if you did, okay, all right, okay.
I threw my $1,000 on Georgia yesterday, and I called it as that. Everybody's like, "Oh, you bet $1,000 on Georgia Bulldogs?"
Man, I need to get back in the military. You got $1,000 laying around to put a bet on something? I work for the city government. I don't have that kind of money laying around.
No, this is like money that I built over like time. I was like,
one bets. Yo, Jim Jones says that's what I was saying last week. Ole Miss is a really hit or miss because of the coaching situation. Lane brought some of that coaching staff as well, and that's what you're saying. I've heard somebody. Anthony, maybe you could speak to this. Trinidad Chambliss, is he's still set? He's still staying there?
I think so. Yeah. To speak to the whole playbook issue, I think it's a little late in the game for them to shake it up too much. I think that Golden will. He might throw a little razzle dazzle in there somewhere, but it's going to have to be in a scenario where they really, really need it, like in case of emergency, break glass. But I see these guys when they announced him, when the AD announced him as the head coach, his players all stood up, gave him a standing ovation. They loved the guy. One thing that we do sometimes see is that love for that coach, that incoming coach with the outgoing coach walking out the door is sometimes enough to inspire to get the team to play inspired. And I think that will be enough to, and not to knock, it's also Tulane. I mean, they really would have to fall on their faces to lose to Tulane. They are a good team. They really would have to fall on their faces hard to lose to Tulane. And then on top of that, now, will that be enough to get them all the way through? I don't know, but I definitely think it'll get them through this game for sure.
We will. Okay. It always comes down to football. If you got to this point, for me, I believe you got a little push. But I think the biggest part on this, Peaches and Cream said, "Brethren, Ole Miss outweighs Tulane by 40 pounds on that line." So, and that at the end of the day, sometimes it's not necessarily X's and O's, it's the Jimmys and the Joes, and we know the type of talent and what Lane has built at Ole Miss. And Tulane, they're playing with house money, so we'll see. But
they're playing with Alex $1,000 is what they're playing with.
Right.
Just to make Sean happy. Here you go.
There you go. Quack quack, baby. I love that. Let's go.
Just for you.
Let's go. All right, and look, let's go to the last one. Handy, who you say Ole Miss or Tulane?
Ole Miss.
Okay.
Ole Miss outright.
All right. Perseverance said Notre Dame will put the belt to ass to Miami at home next year. Ooh, rematch. I can't wait for that one. All right, let's go to Anthony. We'll go to the last one. A&M versus Miami. I know we're going to go with this both for SEC and you know who the quarterback is, Miami, but I do want to hear what you had to say about it.
I think if Texas A&M plays their very best football that day, and I do think they're pissed off because they wanted to go to the SEC championship, but they wound up losing. That they wound up dropping a game, eliminating them from the running. I think they're going to come in there and they're going to be pissed. And Miami is just like me introducing the roundtable. I'm very happy to be here. If they play their best game and their defense brings it, knowing who the quarterback is for the Canes, he might see some ghosts, and he's seen a few ghosts this season. So I'm not even going to do any kind of breakdown. I think Elko is going to have those boys ready. He has been feeding them ground glass, wood splinters, and the can tops off of soup when you cut them off with the can opener for the last couple of weeks, and they're going to be out for blood. I really don't think Miami is ready for whatever it is Texas A&M is bringing. That's just my 2 cents. I don't see them being that type of team all the time, but I think they're bringing all fire intensity into that game in a couple of weeks.
I think it's going to be very interesting. I think Miami gets a bad rap, and I mean, we're talking about they have talent on their defense that's going to be a top 10 potential pick, and I think that sometimes gets overlooked. I personally, for me, I do agree that it really is. Are we getting the A&M that has been dominant all year? Or are we getting the A&M that didn't show up in the first half of the South Carolina game? I think that's going to be very interesting. But I also look at Texas A&M after not making it to the conference championship, and I wonder, are they similar to a Ohio State of a year ago? Didn't make it to the conference championship, gets really pissed off, and then takes it all the way. I mean, I don't know per se, but I think, and Peaches and Cream said it in the comments. I think the biggest travesty about this game is I think this is the noon game. This should be one of the main events that people want to see. Alec, who you got in this one, or who did you pick in your bracket? You had A&M, right?
Yep. I had Texas A&M. Because I'm not gonna. The one thing that I like about Texas A&M is, oh gosh. The one thing I like about Texas A&M is that offense, and knowing how granted Miami has, I'm not sure if if their defense is top 10 in the nation or top 13, but this should have been Notre Dame's spot. I don't care. You can argue with the wall. I would prefer that rematch than anything else, just to see that game again. Because it would have gone. If I would have saw Notre Dame and Texas A&M, that would be more of a better showing than what this might be. It might be close.
Then there's the potential you get the rematch from last year's Natty with Notre Dame if they win playing Ohio State. So, I mean, it works on a lot of levels. So I'm with you.
But, yeah, I'm not going to back Carson. I only want to be on Carson Beck side of the game. I don't.
Alex Loosemore said it should have been Notre Dame versus A&M and Miami versus Oklahoma.
Ooh, those would have been interesting to watch.
I would have watched that.
That Miami-Oklahoma game for sure. Now, Notre Dame, in the form that they were in, they had almost reached the final form and were just getting ready to eat a senzu bean. I think they would run A&M out of the stadium for sure.
Now, the question I have about this.
It'd be close because it was close in the first game.
Do you agree of them opting out of a bowl game?
Coming from North Carolina, who won a national championship and the next year didn't even make it into the tournament and then opted out of NIT, I don't necessarily agree, but I understand. You know what I mean? Like you went to the Natty of the year before and you lost, and now, and yes, it came down, and we already know why they were, left out at the end of the day, but it came down to somebody else choosing if you get in or if you don't. I mean, I would potentially take a stand and just say, hey, we're getting ready for 2026. Me personally, but I mean, I know people might be still upset. What do y'all think? What do you think, Anthony?
I'm still kind of on the fence with this one because there are on the one hand, there's a bunch of people. The only people that really stand to profit from Notre Dame going to a bowl game, it's not Notre Dame. They don't have an opportunity to play for a national championship. This would just be another game where they would either have another win or another loss added to their total win column. The school's going to get a little check for them being in the game or whatever. But the people that are really going to profit are the people that are going to, and this will probably be a game on NBC because it's Notre Dame and the contract. NBC is going to pump the heck out of it, and they're going to make a bunch of money off of it. And, Notre Dame will get their little piece, and that'll be it. So.
Wait, we're talking about the playoff? What are we talking about?
What are we talking about? I thought you said Notre Dame playing in a bowl game. We're talking about Notre Dame sitting the bowl game out.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, yeah. Yeah, overall. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. So Notre Dame will get a little piece of check, but NBC and all of their sponsors will be the ones that will profit from it most because they're getting to put their product out there in a Notre Dame game. So yeah. And worst case scenario is the Irish will get a little fine slapped on their hand, but they'd be like, I got NBC contract money, man. Here, I keep that in my pocket. That's in my sock. I keep that in my sock underneath the mattress.
Now,
so
Perseverance asks, what does Alabama gain from playing in a conference championship when they get blown out and still get in the playoff?
Who said that? There it is.
Perseverance said it, and then Peaches and Cream said, Bama didn't gain anything. They weren't punished for playing the extra game.
Yeah, they didn't gain anything.
They didn't lose anything either.
Yeah, they didn't gain anything, but they also did not lose the opportunity to play for a national championship. That's what they gained. They still have an opportunity. Their hopes of winning, their hope right now. We know, looking at who played and what their records are and all of that stuff and past performance recently, who has a better chance of winning what game. But right now, they have a 1 in 12 chance of winning before the game has been played. Alabama has a 1 in 12 chance of winning the college football playoff and the national championship altogether. So that's what they gained. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, people can talk to their blue in their face, and clearly they'll change some of this stuff in the years to come. Because I think when you look, a lot of people are going to probably have issue with the JMU and Tulane's because, like most people, they've basically picked, exception of Jim Jones, who's talking about JMU, most people have picked the favorite to win in those type of games. And we all want to see a good game. So I think they're going to have situations where they might have play in or even obviously expand it. We know how all this stuff goes. And Loosemore said everybody is playing beat up right now. And they might as well not have been an SEC champion. They might not have been an SEC championship game because nothing changed.
Not so fast, my friend. Georgia got to exercise the demon of not ever having beaten Alabama in the SEC championship.
So it was a personal thing.
Maybe a little bit. Just saying. I might take that one. I might take that one with me to the grave. Nobody's gonna tell, right? Okay, that's what I thought.
I think that Miami in the A&M game is going to be really is going to be extremely well played. Hopefully, we get that type of game. And I mean, at the end of the day, I can understand the two teams that are playing are the two teams literally that beat Notre Dame. So, boom, you put them together. What do you got? You got first round matchup. So that we've seen what these first round matchups have and entail. And let's just look real briefly. It would be an Oregon Texas Tech matchup. It'd be, I think we all agreed on Bama or Oklahoma. Who do we say on this one? That's the one up in the air. The other ones is Ole Miss, Georgia, and then most likely some people said A&M, some people said Miami. All of us said Ohio State's pretty much going to dominate them. Notre Dame got snubbed. Hey, I'm on boat with you guys. Now, I'm also one of the ones that's in the closest conference, even though they're not in the conference, they still play us. But yeah. People are saying corruption. Dad, people are coming out the woodworks.
I like Bamaganda, peaches and cream. I like that Bamaganda. I might have to use that. You might want to put that. You might want to go ahead and get that trademark before it gets crazy.
Now hold up, now, because they're Bamaganda is also well. If you win games, they not gonna call it because I can say there's a more SEC Ganda and maybe a little Georgia Ganda as well, but. I know it's an SEC thing.
Well, how is it Georgia?
Oh, he said free. He said free of charge. He said you got it.
Okay, you giving us a Stevie Wonder treatment with the happy birthday. Okay, I like that. But wait a minute, let me back up.
Loosemore said I got Oregon over TT, Indiana over OU, Georgia over Ole Miss, and Ohio State over Miami. So does that mean Oregon would play? Oregon would play Indiana. Oh yeah, Texas. Yeah, Oregon would play Indiana if they win. and then Georgia would play Ohio State in the semifinals. Ooh, I love that. Bama is great for them. It will be full effect today. Oh yeah.
Hold on, let me back up for a second there. Speaking of Bama Gander, where is it? How is it Georgia Gander when they went 11-1 and then in the SEC championship turned around and beat the team that beat them in the regular season? How is that Gander, Georgia Gander?
Oh, that's why I stopped myself in that because I said at the end of the day, if you just win the games, you can't really say any of that.
Okay,
but I also have said, I've also said that Georgia just took the role of the Bamas and the fandom and the whole thing. And then he said, Alex said, then I got Oregon over Indiana and Ohio State over Georgia, and Oregon winning it all.
You know, we got.
Hey, Jake. You know what the gas chamber smell like, Jake? Pine oil.
Clip that.
They're sending you to pine oil heaven, Jake. They send you to pine oil heaven, Google gangster, for that one.
That's sad.
Texas Tech def is nasty.
See, that used to be me years ago. I used to be like that years ago. Now, I just watch and just get pissed off.
Alec, I think I'm an Oregon fan because I just want you to win. Okay, that's why. Maybe it's because I care.
It's not going to make him any happier, though.
I just want you to win. I want you to win.
Sean, I could see if it was going to make him happy and he was going to celebrate and hoop and holler like me and Colin.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't mean I can't wish well upon my friends.
Wait, no, absolutely.
The only thing about that is, like, if they did win it all, you said I wouldn't be happy. I would. Ooh. It's just I'm tired of like getting blue balled
so close
every time. It's like usually like every time I gotta sit there, I'm like, well, if we would have done that right, if we would have done this right, we would have won. It's like,
hey, you're always a bridesmaid, never a bride. I get it.
18 years. Granted, I can't say anything because some people don't make it. That's fine. Everybody can say that. My team never made it. My team never made it. Shit, at that point, I might as well I wish we didn't make it because I'm tired of seeing this shit 3 times in a row. I'll be tired of seeing it 3 years.
Alec, I want to share a little story with you about a little team from Clark County, Georgia, who always seem to be able to make their way to the SEC championship over the course of 2 recent coaches, get to the SEC championship. Alex
knows them. That's his other team.
Always gets knocked out of the SEC championship, gets knocked out of a national championship. And that one hurt even more because that coach had only been at the school for 2 or 3 years and he turned them around and just kept getting there and couldn't get there. And finally got there. And what did he do? When he finally got there again, he said, we're not losing again. And they didn't. And then he said, let's run it back. And he did it again. And he's been in the conference championship damn near every year since then, and has won another conference championship. And by your postulations, may get to another national championship this year. All I'm saying, bro, is don't be so hard on your team. At some point, Lanning is going to get Oregon there, and they're going to win, and they might win more than one because. Look at where he came from. The apple don't fall too far from the tree. I mean, old Nick had a coaching tree, and he had a whole bunch of sons on that coaching tree, and it was just like Joe and Catherine Jackson. They had them 9 kids, and they kept going, nope, not that one, nope, not that one. But then all of a sudden, there was Michael. Now, Dan Lanning, it's just like, not Kirby. Nick Saban got all these kids, and not that one, not that one. Kirby got him a couple. And now Kirby got him one. And that one might be the one to go ahead and win him one. So, chin up, brother.
Alex Lucenwer said, I always used to think Michigan was never going to win, and then they did. Bunch of people, UGA, IU, both deeper in culture and then NIL and 5 stars. Trying to read all y'all's comments.
I like grits. Thank you, Peaches and Cream. I like grits.
Let's see.
A nice order of grits with some salt and butter and a little bit of cheese on it.
Grit.
With a side of Waffle House hash brown, scattered, smothered, covered, chunked, and diced.
Perseverance wants IU versus Georgia. Peaches and Cream has questions. Perseverance said IU's winning it all.
See, Peaches and Cream, that says it exactly. Offensively, misfires for absolutely no reason. The offense does too much. And do you know who that's coming from, Sean? Last time I checked, who throws the ball? Oh wait.
The
That's
DoorDash driver.
Like the quarterback, right? Yeah, the offensive misfires every fucking time. Like Dante Moore does too much. Like, bro, calm the fuck down.
Hey, he only has to play good. He's only got to play good for 3 games. For the rest of the season, he plays good for 3 games. You can say whatever you want.
You're telling him to do good for 3 games?
All I'm asking for is 3 games.
You're telling him to do good for actually no, that's actually 1, 2, 3, 4. You're asking for 4 games.
Oh yeah, you are in the 4th. Yeah, that's right. You do got to beat. Well, I mean, you already picked You already said you're going to beat JMU, so I was going to Texas Tech.
Hey, you said 4, or you said 3. So I was making sure you had your. Make sure you need to go see a doctor.
Clearly, I was taking other classes at UNC because I wasn't taking education, so I didn't do math. So it is all good.
He's probably taking physical education classes.
Phys ed was great. All right, I look. I did my dissertation on the phys ed. All right, let's go. Well, you know what? As a matter of fact, I was one of the highly sought after phys ed teachers in this country because of my time here. Let's get it. You know what's funny though? I did have a stint where I was an elementary teacher, and I was a phys ed teacher for like 2 years. So, yeah, I didn't go to school for it, but yeah, I did. Oh man.
You're Dan Campbell.
Oh my goodness. Man. And one other X factor they were talking about. Jim Jones said, "Hold up, let's remember OSU doesn't have a kicker. He missed from the 27 last night to tie the game. We know years ago. Oh, and matter of fact, one of the championships that Anthony talks about that." I think it was the second one wouldn't even have happened if they had a kicker because that guy kicked it and totally shanked it off to the left. So if he makes that kick, then we're talking about a whole different thing. So I don't think that's the huge issue, because we'll see because they're not dealing with any low key teams anymore.
Well, since we're talking about kickers, I know one particular team that had controversially, I don't even know if that's an actual adjective, but I just made it up, has been inserted into the CFP who has problems with a kicker, although he's been pretty consistent the last couple of games in Alabama. They want to run Connor Talty out of town. They do. Bama fans hold their breath every time he lines up. They boo him when he runs on the field, and then they hold their breath to see if he makes the kick. So...
Peaches and Cream said Ohio State seems soft. I think that's the word you're looking for. And he said, yep, Ohio State hadn't had a reliable kicker in years. The main reason why they lost to Michigan in 2024. So that could be an interesting. And that's one of the things I think to look up. The matchups are key, but it's also what are those little things that teams are missing, whether it be the running back injuries at Alabama, whether it be, different kicker issues at Ohio State, whether it's just some teams haven't lost or haven't played anybody like the Indianas that we talk about. And when they actually have consistent power matchups, how is that going to take effect? It's going to be quite interesting to see. Everybody who has a team in here, with exception of Alec, thinks their team is going all the way. People who don't have a dog in the fight will say this team, that team. At the end of the day, you got to play the games. So let's get down to it. Nico Sambat 6490 says Georgia national champions. So you got another fan, y'all.
Nico Sambat, I appreciate you. You are my new best friend.
Last night. Yeah. So also, ironically enough, Ohio State's only loss each of the last 2 seasons were both 13-10, and their kicker missed field goals. Shout out to our guy Alex Loosemore, diehard Michigan fan, who the audio, obviously Ohio State was messing with his audio, so he wasn't able to stay on here. But yeah, he's been chiming in the comments for sure.
AKA hashtag the Google gangster.
Peaches and Cream said Gunner for Heisman. Ooh, okay. Oh, it's interesting.
That's a hot take.
And same kicker from both games too. Ooh, Alex Loosemore. Ooh, that's interesting. Indiana, Ohio State, Georgia, and Texas Tech are the only teams that I think can win it all, which is the top 4.
Can I be honest with y'all for a minute? I gotta be brutally, no, not brutally honest. I do have to be honest though. I do an SEC show, so my focus is on all the SEC games every Saturday, and I try and go back and catch all the recaps and whatnot. Yesterday was the first time I got a chance to actually watch Indiana play wire to wire. They are good. I mean, really good. I mean, this ain't no don't believe the hype kind of deal. They are really good. Signetti had those, but he had those boys ready for Ohio State yesterday. Ohio State get a punch them in the mouth and they turn right back around. It was like watching Rocky versus Drago in Rocky 4, where they just beat the crap out of each other for like 82 rounds. You know what I mean? It was great. It's like, there ain't no tomorrow, Rock. They just beating the hell out of each other for 4 quarters. That was an amazing game. So, I'm going to go ahead and tip my hat to Indiana, because all I ever knew for Indiana sports-wise prior to that was basketball. Basketball and Larry Bird. I don't know if he played for the Hoosiers or not, but, Larry Bird from Indiana.
State. He played for the Sycamores.
Yeah, but still, he's the Indiana guy. And of course, that team that didn't make the playoffs this year. That's what I knew Indiana for when it came to sports. But Hoosiers football, not before yesterday.
And people are going back and forth on this on Notre Dame. Somebody said, can we have a moment of silence for them? Somebody said they feel, the very same person that shouted out Georgia, saying that they feel terrible for them. I don't know if you being real or facetious. The refs are holding some flags. I do appreciate them letting the boys play, which I love. And that, I think, is going to be another X factor. How flag happy are the refs? Do they let things play and let it just kind of be played out on the field, or are they going to have some guys that are really quick to throw it?
I think may I with that? I think with all the scrutiny the refs have been under this year, really, they've been really hard on them this year. And I mean, the one guy was relieved of his duties altogether. I think sometimes they're either going to be quick to pull it because they don't want to miss it, or they're going to hold on to it because they're like, did I see what I thought I saw? Maybe the coach, they hold it and then hope the coach will throw the challenge flag. You know what I mean?
All right, we're cooling it out. All right. Bet. It's going to be interesting. That always plays a major role, and I think let them play, like Alex said. I think if we just be consistent, I think the consistency is what everybody's thinking about. All right, we are heading out of here. My guy Alex got to get out of here, so we're going to go ahead and jump off. Hey, we appreciate you guys in the comments. You guys have been killing it in the comments, talking back and forth on all the good stuff we got. Hey, the ACC actually did something right when it comes to officiating. Exactly. I mean, that's the only thing we did right. But look, we got to get out. So you see Mr. Oregon Duck, Alex Schomburg, and Anthony Handy, the host of This Week in Georgia Football, Peaches and Cream, saying, great panel, guys. Appreciate you, my man. Definitely hop back in these comments. We try to go every Tuesday and every Saturday. And the guy you've been talking to, Peaches and Cream, Alex Loosemore, he's one of my co-hosts that always comes up in here, so he'll definitely be on here. We know Ohio State was messing with you, no doubt about it. You can also check out my guy Anthony Handy on Zag Niff Productions on YouTube. He has a show with his guy Colin P. talking about the Georgia Bulldogs and then looking at the rest of the SEC as it pertains to what's going on. So definitely get in touch with them. And my guy Alec comes on the show for sure and gives us his love for his Ducks. Love for his Ducks. Okay. And let me just tell you guys how me and this guy got cool. Okay. We were friends of friends, and we would chat. We were all in a group chat together, and we would, chat here and there. But a couple years ago, Alex, Oregon Ducks, maybe you guys were struggling and we were playing above our weight. Long story short, Oregon played against North Carolina. So that morning, without any warning, I hit up Alec and I just said, quack, quack, baby. And then Alec went off. Oh, you going to say quack, quack? That's what we doing? That's why we beat your ass. And I've been hitting him up ever since to talk about it. So, definitely get back with us. This Tuesday, we're going to be talking about all of the bowls that are coming out So what are some of these what are some of these good matchups? What are some of the ones that are kind of like, ugh? And we'll then ask the question if North Carolina is going to make it into a bowl, which we know is a no. So, all right, people, we're out of here. Appreciate y'all. Peace.